Confirm that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I will
You
give
affirm.
evidence, truth, nothing else
Just
but the
say
truth.
I affirm.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Please say I affirm.
I affirm. Thank you,
you.
Chairperson.
Chair, before we begin, I should just place on record one fact, which is that in the supplementary bundle, I'll take Ms. Gxasheka through all of the documents in due course, but the Commissioner should have two files of supplementary bundle 1 and 2. The bulk of the second volume of the supplementary, or the whole of the second volume of the supplementary bundle, in fact, all of the supplementary bundle from page 123 on, was only made available to Ms. Gxasheka's attorneys late yesterday. That was the Commission's fault, and we apologize for that. As a result, it would not be fair for me to question the witness on any of these documents today. But I have spoken to her legal team, and we have agreed that I won't traverse any of those documents today, that I will only get to them tomorrow, and that they will prepare overnight on those documents, and that if there is, if they want, as it were, Ms. Gxasheka to be led in relation to those documents first thing tomorrow morning, we will arrange to do that. There may be a supplementary statement overnight, but they haven't yet decided whether that will be necessary or not. So for now, I would ask the Commission also not to ask questions in relation to anything that appears from page 123 onwards of the supplementary bundle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Ms. Magula.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Indeed, I do confirm what the evidence leader has said. We received documents early hours of this morning, to be precisely at 1:03 a.m. So we discussed before we got into this hearing. Everything is so arranged as he has said. I confirm such. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you, Ms. Magula. Yes, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair. Ms. Gxasheka, before we start, I just want to clarify that you have all of the documents that I'm going to be referring you to. And the first file, and the file that will be certainly the most important for the start, is, it says statement on its spine, and it's a file that contains your two witness statements. It says file 1 of 6.
Yes.
And that, I'll be leading you from that file this morning. Then there are 5 additional files, files 2 to 6 of 6, which are the annexes to your statements. I understand that one of those files, which is, I think, the regulations, which is a file of legislation you don't have with you, or have you been able to source a copy? I don't propose to ask you questions around it, but if you get to a point where you need to consult any of the legislation in your answers, please say so, and we will make arrangements for a duplicate copy of that file to be made available to you. But from my side, I don't intend to ask questions to you about the legislation. Then there is the supplementary bundle file, 2 files, and the only questions that you'll be asked today, to the extent that you are asked any questions, will relate to the first file of that supplementary bundle file. that we structure these questioning sessions is the first stage of the questioning is really to take you through your statement so that you can tell your statement without intrusive questioning. So you don't need to be on your guard until I say, okay, we've reached the end of your statement, now you're going to be subjected to intrusive questioning. So I will be taking you through your statement, and at the end of the statement, we will then get to certain topics where I just want to interrogate your statement more rigorously. There are two statements that you have filed, and the second one is called supplementary statement, but as I read it, it's more a consolidated version of the first statement, which also responds to certain allegations that were that only came to light in the evidence of Ms. Mashazi after you had furnished the first statement. So unless you have any objection, I propose to lead you only off the supplementary sworn statement, because as I read it, it traverses everything in the first statement, so there's no need to duplicate. But I see your legal team is nodding in assent. So that is how I propose to proceed. And with that introduction, can we then turn to your supplementary sworn statement? And maybe start at the end. And can you just confirm that the signature that we see on page 43 is your signature? And that the contents of the statement are, to the best of your knowledge, true and correct?
I hereby confirm it is my signature. Thank you so much.
And can you confirm also that the contents of the statement are, to the best of your knowledge, true and correct?
Indeed, the content of the statement, to my knowledge, it is my statement. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Then if we go back to the beginning of the statement, you point out in paragraph 1 that you are employed at the Ekurhuleni Metro as Head of Department Human Resources. Paragraph 5, you discuss your history and qualifications. Can you first of all tell the Commission when you were appointed, when you were first appointed at the city? How long have you worked at the city? If you can.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairperson, the Commissioners, and the evidence leader. Through you, Chairperson, I think before I speak to my qualifications, I would like to address some irregularities that I've seen on different statements, transcripts, in relation to my surname. Thank you. The last time you did raise it, but as I was going through the statements, I've realized that I've been addressed in different ways. I would like to correct that Mrs. Linda Louisa Gxasheka. I'm not a mister. I've called Gxasheka, and I'm thinking these are legal documents that I've gone through. So I would like that to be corrected, that I am Mrs. Linda Louisa Gxasheka. Thank you so much. To come to my career at Ekurhuleni, that has led us to be here today. Indeed, I arrived at Ekurhuleni in 2015. May 1st of May 2015, coming from City of Joburg. I've joined local government in 2008. I worked for City of Joburg for those years. I did a lot of great work for City of Joburg. I'm hoping that at some point I'll be able to talk to that about my career. When I left City of Joburg, they called me 3 times when I was at Ekurhuleni. Linda, come back. The city is not functioning in HR without you. I'm not there. Maybe I will be able to address that, but I felt it's something that needs to be discussed in terms of my career trajectory in local government space. When I was appointed as divisional head for field services, the reason I think they chose me to be appointed in that position, because at City of Joburg as well is the position that I held. I had about 3 to 4 promotions when I was working for City of Joburg. To some extent, I think when the City of Joburg was going through the issues of the billing system, the ICT system, at some point in one council, I was appraised for making a change and contribution to the change at City of Joburg. Hence, when I left, I was called to go back, but I felt that I've done my journey and I have a role to play at the City of Ekurhuleni. Hence, I stayed. I was in that position of a divisional head, field services, and my role was to implement the HR business partnering model. And that's what I implemented successfully in the city of Johannesburg. And I put systems in place. I developed the business partnering model, operating model for the city of Ekurhuleni. I've developed service level agreements without using any service provider. I saved money. When I arrived in Joburg, they spent millions in developing that plan. When I came in, I went and implemented. I had so many highlights, but we're not here for City of Joburg, and I don't want them to be brought into issues of Ekurhuleni. I implemented a lot of policies in that role at City of Joburg, including a sexual harassment policy that will be discussed today, and service level agreement. I've also implemented that. And those were the success. I came with the surveys to speak to issues of how our clients at the time, which was about 25 departments, were perceiving HR services. And from the findings of that survey, that's when we then developed all the other operational parameters and strategies for the city of Ekurhuleni. Subsequent to that, there was a first institutional review we embarked upon at the city of Ekurhuleni. And my position as a divisional head field services, it was then merged with a divisional head talent acquisition, recruitment and selection. Then I was responsible for those 2 functions without any additional salary. I don't think that was the main issue to me. The aim was to see that we can change Ekurhuleni. It's a bit we're here today, Chairperson. Subsequent to that, I think in February 2023, on this day, it was on a Thursday, Council adopted my appointment as the HOD Human Resources. Such an irony, but a beautiful one, I hope, that today I'm here testifying for being in this role. And I've been in this role ever since then and to date. I think I've dwelt too much on this issue. You will tell me, evidence leader, if we're gonna go paragraph by paragraph or what is going to happen so that I don't spend too much on one paragraph. Thank you so much, Chairperson and the commissioners.
Thank you, Ms. Gxasheka. You refer in paragraph 5 to your CV in Annexure LLG1. That's on page 1 of the Annexure bundle, file 2. Can you just confirm that that is the correct document and that the CV is and that the contents of the CV are correct? I don't need you to amplify them, but just confirm the correctness of the CV.
Yes, we can confirm. It's just the years that might need to be corrected. As I say, I've been in local government more than 10 years. I think it's about 16 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then you discuss the work that you've done in the HR department in Ekurhuleni through the paragraphs 6 to 13. Can I ask you just to amplify a couple of these paragraphs? You say you've implemented the human resources business partnering model. Just wasn't clear to me. Can you just explain what it is?
The human resource business partnering model is basically about enhancing the service that HR provides to the line departments, whereby you ensure operational efficiencies are improved, you understand the business itself so that you can be able to provide the correct and fit for purpose advisors to the departments, being a part of the line in all their decision making. And hence it was important to look at this. I said earlier on, one of the issues I embarked upon was the service, the customer satisfaction survey. That was also to be able to implement what is the client is expecting from HR. But most importantly is to ensure that HR is operating effectively and efficiently in providing services to the department. And the main thing I felt this must be spoken to here is it was very key to also make the Commission understand that City of Joburg, in terms of capacity, I'm not a person who comes with excuses of capacity. You do more with less. But at City of Joburg, when I implemented the model, I ensured that every department has an HR structure so that they can be able to understand the issues of the department and be able to advise correctly the department on its issues. And secondly, Ekurhuleni is still at an implementation phase due to lack of capacity, but as I said, that the approach was do more with less. Most critical is to explain that my understanding of the SAPS and how it works, you will probably have an HR practitioner in every station, in every province, and the national departments. Ekurhuleni, as I explained that, the model is still under implementation. I'm the only HOD responsible for, at that time, of these matters that we have for discussion, for 25 departments, with the political offices that has its own challenges. And I had about 5 HR business partners that must man and provide support to all these departments. Hence, majority of the work and the decisions that had to be made at a center. So we have not defined that in the HR business partnering model, the centers of excellence, where policing and everything is done, there's shared services where day-to-day work is done, then there's HR business partners. That has not been fully realized. But the most important is the model of SAPS and Ekurhuleni is very different. And I'm going to talk to that as we go down the statement. Thank you, evidence leader. And on the other issues, you said I must go up to page 3. I've also spoken to the functions, I think from page 210, the implementation of the recruitment. It's one of my highlights I had at Ekurhuleni. When I arrived there, recruitment services to fill positions, it will take more than 365 days. I just couldn't understand that. We've got service delivery issues. Customers, residents of Ekurhuleni are not happy, but we cannot have positions filled. Hence, I came with the service level agreements that were signed between myself, my team, and the line departments. And by the time I became an HOD, recruitment processes to date are between 90 days. That's our turnaround time. And now, before I was shown the gate, we were having a target that at least let's get to 60 days. We can do that. I worked for private sector. It can take a month to fill a position with a fit for purpose talent. And I feel that I'm aspiring that we should get to that. On the labor relations matters on page 3, I think that's the reason we're here today. I must emphasize that when we started with the issues that are bringing us today that I'll speak to, I get to encounter and be able to form part of the relations management deeply when I was acting HOD Human Resources, because before I was appointed, I acted when my predecessor left. And obviously it means I had one division.
Sorry to interrupt, but can you just give us a date for that? When did you start acting?
I've acted, in fact, we were acting, I think it was 2-3 of us interchangeably. I think it was from August 2022. And as I said earlier on, my appointment was, Council adopted the appointment of HOD HR Linda Gxasheka in February 2023. So the acting would have been August to February. And I was encountered with challenges from the time I was acting in the labor relations space. One of the matters, there's about 4 I'll mention, I won't mention a lot, there's a lot. It was the Germiston Pension Fund. Commissioners, you might know about this. We had lockdown issues, Commissioner Khumalo. And at that time, Ekurhuleni was expected to pay more than 100 million for the pension not performing. And the changes to that pension fund were done prior to 1994, and it was locked. They performed, I think it performed and performed, then around 2020, I think could have been during COVID time, they said, Ekurhuleni, surprise for you, come and assist. But it came to my attention when I was acting. Another matter that also came to be a challenge in the labor relations space, it was the implementation of the remuneration model. I had no interest to start mentioning this name now, but I'm forced to. Mr. Ngeza ran with the remuneration model. The intention at the time was the remuneration model, it will cost the city around 100 million. By the time the process was concluded, it costed the city more than 400 and something million, almost $500 million. The current city manager, Mr. Gxasheka, reported this to Dr. Mashas. The challenges of this, it meant that the city now must embark on a moratorium. It means we reduce in filling of positions. We know, Chairperson and Commissioners, what that translates into. Limited capacity. We don't fill positions. Ultimately, what does that mean? Service delivery is impacted. And we expect that citizens of Ekurhuleni must be happy. These are some of the challenges I had to deal with. I was also encountered the Kalimashe and others matter, Gwejan and others matter. That one of those matters costed the city 500 million, $500 million. I had to sit and negotiate with the unions. Another one, by the time it came to the city, to the legal department, it was left with 6 days. It was a judgment, not even a contempt of court, a judgment against the city manager. I'm not going to mention names. It could have been the current city manager, it could have been the previous one. 6 days that are left. I'm the started partnering with legal department. We know some of the matters that they had to deal with, the PCX matters and all of that. But I'm focusing on the LR issues that they had to assist me with. I'm new in this position. I've got judgments. I've got contempt of courts. That on matters that Mr. Ngeza and the ER division could have negotiated years ago and settled. The fights you fight, once you get to labor, LAC, at least, you should know that you're winning or not. On the matter of $500 million, It was 1,000 employees that were impacted that were going to benefit on that. Some of them, they are union leaders, I won't mention the unions, come to me and said, HOD, I've already made a calculation. If you settle this for us and pay us this $500 million, I retire. I asked them, what does it mean for the citizens of Ekurhuleni? What does it mean for employees? Because it means we might probably have to retrench something that was never done in local government. It might mean we don't fill positions once more. What does it mean for your own children, for the generations that to come? These are matters I had to settle to an extent that we reduced from that $500 million and to a lesser amount. I think we signed with the current city manager only last year, but it was ongoing challenges that one had to take up the seat and own ER space. If I did not, Ekurhuleni might have closed by now. I think I'll move on that. Issues of performance management, I won't focus on that. I think training and development, evidence leader, we'll discuss that tomorrow. Another most important thing that I need to discuss with commissioners in terms of my achievement is the advocacy programs. I think Dr. Mashazi didn't do justice here. While she came with her own programs, I developed programs when I came to Ekurhuleni. I resuscitated the men's forum because there was conversations that men must have Ekurhuleni. Probably won't even be here, or I wouldn't be implicated in other matters if those conversations took long before I arrived there. I've resuscitated that forum. I've developed the disability management forum. I've also developed a women empowerment forum because I felt that we need an inclusive and a diverse workforce. And those are some of the issues that I felt must be shared. I don't want to be controversial, but there is one structure that was not yet done, and maybe I shouldn't talk to it just because I don't want to be misquoted. For now, I'll stop the evidence leader. Thank you, Chairperson.
In paragraph